Hi grade 4s, welcome to your next lesson of music. Today we're going to be looking at a slightly more complicated, slightly more rapid and quick moving piece. Quick in terms of moving it with the notes, but not quick in terms of beat. So the beat is not going to be like this, but it's going to be da, da, boevalov, eighth notes. So this is going to be our first piece out of two pieces for this half of term, because these pieces are going to be a bit tricky, so we're not going to have three pieces like we usually do. Just going to focus on these two and try and get them as best as we can. So let's get straight into it. Let's look at Soldier Soldier and let's read out the rhythm. So one thing you'll need to note for this piece is I've only written out the melodies for each line. When you look at the sheet music that I've attached, you'll see that there's both a melody and a harmony. But by now you should be able to differentiate between the two because the grand staff shows the melody and the harmony. So this grand staff is responsible for line 1. The second grand staff for line 2. Third grand staff, line 3. Fourth grand staff, line 4. So make sure when you're practicing with the sheet music, which you should be doing because it's always there whenever you're playing for me, is read from the top line because the top line is the melody. So this top line to the second top line to the third top line. Don't read from line 1 of the melody to line 1 of the harmony. Then line 2 of the melody to line 2 of the harmony. Don't read like a storybook. Read it the way music is meant to be read. The top line of each grand staff. Okay? So let's get to reading the rhythm for the piece of today, Soldier Soldier. So we have a bunch of quarter notes, some eighth notes, and then over here in the last bar we have a dotted half note which we hold for 3 beats. These apostrophes up here are not just apostrophes, they are breath marks. So that's a chance for you to take a breath. Alright, so let's start off by reading our rhythm. We have ta, 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 ti, 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 ta, ti, ti, ta, 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 ta. Line 2, ta, ti, ti, ta, ti, 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 ta, ti, ti, ta, 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 ti, ti, ta, 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 ti, ti, ta, ti, ti, ta, ti, 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 ta, 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 Alright, so this piece has every single rhythmic pattern that we have, every single rhythmic note. So it has quarter notes, eighth notes, half notes, dotted half notes, and even a whole note. So every single rhythmic note that we know. So if you need to go through that rhythm again, just rewind and go through it again with me so you can get it solid. If you have the rhythm solid, then getting the piece will be just a little bit easier. Alright, let's start it off. So bar number 1, we have line 2. What note is that? And then the next 2, and then back to this one. I'm not going to tell you the names of the notes. I want to see if you can get it right by playing with me, alright? So let's go for this note, this whole bar. 3, go. Again. So that should have been G, B, B, G. Next line, next bar, bar number 2. Now we're going to go in eighth notes. And what you'll notice is bar number 2 over here is the same as bar number 2 in line number 2 and same as bar number 2 in line number 4. So if you get this part, you've gotten 3 parts in total. So let's go for it. Bar number 2. We have A, G, F sharp, E in eighth notes. So slowly, go. Again. Bit quicker. Again. By yourself. A, G, F sharp, E. Let's go to those D and double D for that eighth note. Let's take from this D. Go. Again. Let's put the whole of bar 2 together, nice and slow. 3, go. Again. And make sure you cover those holes for D. Those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes. And also the back. But you use little air. If you use a lot of air, it'll sound squeaky. And we don't want that. We want it to sound nice and good. Alright. So let's put bar 1 and bar 2 together. 3, go. Again. By yourself, go. Ti, ti, ta, ti, ti. Let's go for bar number 3. We have an E. We're going to be skipping a note. So we're going from E to G to F sharp to A. All right, so let's go for it. 3, go. Then in fact you can hear it drawing itself to that note. So let's take it from this bar up into that G. Go. For 3 beats. Make sure you don't hold it for. Don't do that. It has to be 3 beats. Then you go to that B. And take a breath before you do it. All right, let's try bar number 3 to bar number 4. Go. All right, let's put bar number 1 all the way till bar number 4. So that's the whole of line number 1. 3, go. One more time, a little slower. Now you by yourself, whole of line number 1. 3, go. Two, 3, ta. All right, let's take it to line number 2. So for line number 2, we have ta, ti, ti, ta, ti, ti. And it's the same, it's kind of like the same notes that we have over here. We have a G, but now we have B played as an 8th note. Whereas over here, it was just B, B. But now it's going to be B, B. Okay? So let's try that. And it's just the same thing again. So G, B, B, G, B, B. All right? So let's try that out. 3, go. Again. All right, let's take it to bar number 6. So we have the exact same pattern that we had in bar number 2. So let's go for it. From that E all the way to that double D. Go. Again. Let's now take it from bar 5 to bar 6 in line number 2. 3, go. Now let's go to bar number 7. We have that same move, E, G, but now we're going to take it a little bit lower. Instead of going to that F sharp, we're going to go E, G, D, E, F sharp. All right, so same move here, but then we go to a D, then an E, F sharp, G, then we play another G instead of a B. So let's try this bar number 7, slowly, from the E up until over here, in that F sharp. Go. Let's just try bar 7 by itself. Slowly. Go. Again. By yourself. Go. G, D, E, F sharp. Now let's take it to bar 8. So bar 7 to bar 8. 3, go. Go. All right, let's put the whole of line number 2 together. 3, go. You put the whole of line number 2 together. Go. Two, 3, ta. Let's put line 1 and line 2 together. 3, go. All right, good stuff there. So just watch out for that. D, E, F sharp, G, G. All right, let's go to line number 3. So now it's going to be slightly different. We have 2 double Ds over here held for 2 half notes. So that's ta, ah, ta, ah. Let's play that on our recorder. Go. Again. All right, let's take it to bar number 10. So what we have is another D, 2 Ds, but now played as quarter notes. D, D, then we go to A, F sharp. So let's try that. D, D, A, F sharp. Go. Go. Let's put bar number 9 and bar 10 together. 3, go. So now let's take it for bar number 11. We're going from G to E down all the way to these 2 Ds. So I have a lot of Ds over here. So G, E, D, D. Let's play that out. 3, go. Again. Let's put bar 9 all the way till bar 11. 3, go. Alright, and then let's finish off with bar 12. We have G held for 3 beats, then D, D played as a 8th note. So let's try that, bar number 12. That's the last bar in this line number 3. 3, go. Again. Put the whole of line number 3 together. 3, go. Okay, so let's look at line number 4. So line number 4 is like a mixture of both line number 2 and line number 1 because it has the exact same movement for the first 2 bars in line number 2. We have that G, B, B, G, B, B. Same thing in line number 2, G, B, B, G, B, B. But then for our second bar, it's exactly the same. A, G, F sharp, E, D, D, D. So D, D, D as that 8th note right there. And then we take it over here. We have our E, G, F sharp, A. The same thing we have in line number 1. E, G, F sharp, A. Then we hold that G instead of 3 beats, we hold it for a full 4 beats. So make sure it's 4. A lot of you like holding this 4 beat whole note as 3 beats, okay? So make sure it's 4 beats. All right, let's go for line number 4. 3, go. One more time, even slower. Go. All right, let's put line number 3 and line number 4 together. 3, go. All right, let's now put the whole thing, line number 1 to line number 4. 3, go. So not too bad. Once you know the parts, at least if you know part 1, part 2, you've known most of it, because part 1 and part 2 are just interfused to make line number 4. So let's now try it a little bit quicker for those of us who want a challenge. 1, 2, 3, go. Now you go for it by yourself. We're going to take it at a nice medium speed so it's not too quick but not too slow. 3, go. One, 2, 3, B. 1, 2, 3, G, D. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, grade 4, so that's Soldier Soldier. So all you need to watch out for is those small little variations. So the difference between line 1 and line number 2 being that D, E, F sharp, G. We're climbing up. And then line number 3 is its own thing. But then line number 4 is a fusion of both line 1 and line 2. And make sure, very important, make sure you're reading it out of your book. If you're not reading out of your book, then you're going to make mistakes when I actually want you to play with me and if I play the harmony with you. So make sure you're reading it off. So you can find this on Facts. I'll always attach it and print it out. Printing it out allows you to actually see the music and have it in front of you. Whether there's power, whether there's no internet, you will always have the music in front of you. And it makes you better at reading it. So don't just watch the video and play only with me. Make sure you print it out and also practice by yourself, because that's what's going to make you good. So have fun practicing Soldier Soldier, and next week we're going to go for our second piece, which is going to be our last piece because it's also a slightly tricky one, just the same way Soldier Soldier is. So I really want you to spend time practicing them and getting them really, really good, because if you do, then that means you're moving up levels in Recorder, okay? So have fun practicing, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now, grade 4s.